Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Script International Academy inaugural podcast episode. And today I'm very happy to introduce Larry Kaye. He is the president of Script International. He's a well established expert in the world of equipment rental. And today we're going to talk about Larry's new project that he is launching later this month of April 2024, in Chattanooga, right? And so, Larry, if you could kind of give us the overview of this first course in the series called Passing the Baton.
Thanks, Fernando. It's great to be with you. I am very excited about this project. It has been something that has been on my mind for a long time. I had the benefit of working in a family owned business and working with my dad for 16 years. And then I had an opportunity to be part of a think tank group back in the 80s that was the leaders of the rental industry. And so I feel like over the last 30 or 40 years, I've gathered an incredible amount of information that a lot of folks today just have no knowledge of. And I think it'd be very helpful to them. So I've been trying to figure out how I could get this into a program that I could push this information and help equip business owners. So the name of the program is Passing the Baton, and it's a four-part series specifically targeted towards business owners of rental companies or managers to try to give them the knowledge to help them be able to compete in the marketplace today.
Okay, great, great. So tell me a little bit more about the genesis of this program. You talked about this vast amount of wisdom and knowledge you have, gained over the last 40 years with your father and in various roles. But why particularly now? Uh, what's the importance of it now, introducing this program to this next generation?
So one of the things that has happened in our industry over the last 25 years is there's been a lot of consolidation. And so the consolidation has taken out of the industry people like me and folks like my father, people that were real pioneers in the industry and kind of made it happen. Everything from software to process improvement to multi locations, a lot of things that created the foundation of the industry. And as these people sold their businesses, then they left. I mean, it created a vacuum of knowledge in the rental industry. And so now you've got a bunch of folks that are in the business and maybe they didn't have the good fortune of knowing a lot of these things. So anyways, as I'm kind of trying to wind down my career a little bit, I felt like this was a project that I wanted to see if I could establish that would create a legacy going forward.
And I think part of that, Larry, and I know we've talked off camera before about this, is sort of digitizing your knowledge to kind of pass the baton to next generations, right?
Correct. It is especially challenging for smaller companies to, be able to get somebody away from their business for 2 or 3 days to attend a training. And, their training is just always a challenge. Have the right content, have it at the right place, have it at the right price. All of those things are elements that either make it go or not go. So this is a project that in the future, I hope it will be digital. For right now, it's an intensive workshop type program over the course of a year that somebody would attend hopefully each of these four-part series. They do one approximately every 90 days. And in a year's time, they would have hopefully all the information they need to really accelerate their career.
Okay, great, great. So I was wondering if you could walk us through what an attendee will experience during this first live session. I understand it's going to be April 24th through the 25th in downtown Chattanooga at the Spring Hill Suites hotel. 12 hours of classroom time. What will an attendee get out of this first session?
So Great question. And I've done multiples of these types of things. So this is not a new event for me. I'm excited about hosting the event in Chattanooga. I think we've got a great town, a lot of interesting things to see and do here. So hopefully everyone would arrive, say, afternoon on Tuesday before the seminar starts on Wednesday. And so I have a dinner planned for everybody that comes so we can all meet. And right now, this is targeted to be an intimate group. I'm counting on about 20 folks. So this isn't 50 or 100. This is kind of a small, intimate workshop group. So a lot of the value will be through the networking. Actually, I've been to lots of programs and you just never know where the magic is going to happen. You could be sitting at breakfast with somebody, or you're sitting at the bar later and the topic comes up, and bingo, that's the idea that you take home and you make a lot of money. So, anyway, we're going to do this Wednesday night dinner. We do have a minor league baseball team in town that has got games on Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So, if somebody wanted to go to a ball game, we'll start at 8 o'clock at the hotel on Wednesday morning. I've made arrangements with booking the hotel for all the accommodations because I really want this to be a real immersive experience so that people aren't chasing, trying to go to this hotel or that hotel or show up late or they had transportation problems. You're just there for 2 days, more or less. I think there's a lot of value in that. So we'll do from 8 to 12, 4 hour session. We'll have a break in between and then we'll do lunch on the property. And then we'll do a 1 to 5 session again with breaks in the afternoon. And then Wednesday night, we'll have another dinner together at a local restaurant. And then again, if somebody wants to head over to a ball game or some other activity, we've got a 12-mile walk, run, ride a bike track too. So you can rent a bike. So anybody that's into activities, want to get up early, it's a wonderful place. So Thursday is a half day program. And so we'll do 8 a.m. to 12 lunch, and then lunch will be catered, and then everybody can either continue to stay or move on.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And the option of being able to go to a baseball game or what have you is great. And I really love the fact that it's going to be an intimate setting where the networking is going to really make the difference. And I think that that's a fantastic opportunity for people to kind of really learn. And I don't want to embarrass you, but to really learn from the master, I guess. To kind of really be able to sort of have that exclusive access to you and to others in the industry in this intimate setting. I think that that's something that they're not going to be able to have access to at any other time. So this is a real privileged situation, I think.
Yeah, I'll share with you something. Probably 30 years ago, I went to anything I had ever done with the American Rental Association was always big, hundreds of people and so on and so forth. And they were sponsoring an accounting and finance program. And I talked my dad into, we should go to this thing. And so we traveled to Philadelphia and I walked in the room and there was like 12 people there. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have really messed up here because there's nobody here. The benefit of that program for 2 days was there was nobody there. So it was like private tutoring by a guy that was really a master in understanding accounting and finance. So don't let the numbers fool you. The idea of an intimate setting, I've worked different sized crowds and this is a very manageable group. And it is a workshop. Okay. It is not 12 hours of presentation. It is a workshop. So you got to come out of this thing with understanding the concepts. Okay. It's not just go home and study your notes. I mean, I want you to leave the few days we're together that you own the information.
Yeah, and I think that's another very important difference that people need to understand is it's not just you teaching and them listening. You really want to make sure that they get the
Right.
material at a core level within them. So that's fantastic. And so I was wondering if you could get into a little bit of the takeaways of the first program. The first program is actually called Setting the Foundation. It's one of four classes, or one of 4 courses in this series called Passing the Baton, Setting the Foundation. There's 5 modules in this initial Setting the Foundation course, and I was wondering if you can maybe get into this a little bit for each module. What are the takeaways that they're gonna get?
Certainly. So my experience as a consultant and I have two perspectives on this. I've owned a couple of different rental companies that I started from scratch. And then I have also worked as a professional consultant working with other small businesses.
Right.
And invariably, I come in and I ask them, do you have a business plan? Or how did you get here? In other words, I want to see what was your idea to get started and how well have you been able to execute that? And usually it all breaks down right there because they had an idea about something and maybe it looked easier. I mean, it's almost as if you headed out on an adventure and you packed your backpack half full of stuff and then I'll figure it out on my way, you know? But what you didn't plan on was the external elements changing. Okay. I mean, it was almost if you were going to climb a mountain or something and you didn't think that it might rain or snow. You thought it was going to be 70 degrees. So anyway, setting the foundation, whether you're just starting a business or whether you've been doing it for a while, you still may not have the right foundation. I mean, you might have built a foundation, to use residential construction. You were building a 1,100 square foot house. That's what you thought you were building. And then as time goes on, all of a sudden you think you want a 3-story house. Well, you don't have the right foundation for that. Okay. You never did. So you're not going to be able, or if you try, the house will go fall down. Okay. I mean, that's the deal. So I want to really start from the core. And one of the things that I think people need to really understand is rental is a form of distribution. They may not think that because they don't see themselves as being a distributor, but in fact, they are in the delivery channel of products from a manufacturer to an end user, a very valuable piece of that. So with that in mind, you have to kind of understand the 50,000-foot view of what business are you in, okay? And who are the players and what is their goals and objectives? Because in effect, they are the ones that are driving things, okay? You're just in the game with your business, but you need to understand who you're competing against and who you're not competing against. So just because they have a skid steer loader and you have one, that does not mean you're chasing the same customer. Sometimes people think that. So
Right.
we'll start with the idea of what is it that's making this industry really run? I mean, it's incredibly year over year, the rental revenue numbers in North America just continue to grow. All right. It's not going away. So if you're in the rental industry, it's a good thing. However, you got to be really, really smart because you're not the big fish. You're the small guy. This is a David and Goliath story. Okay. So you really have to figure out where can I play? So the first thing is knowing what's going on in the industry. Second thing is knowing about the competition and understanding how they make money and what is their end goal. And that's probably different than you. So you have to understand what makes them, why do they do the things they do? Because sometimes it's a head scratcher and you go, I don't get it. That's because they've got a different strategy, different plan. Then we have to get down to the part about, and again, many rental owners don't get this. They think that this is a products business, that I go get a bunch of inventory and I put it in a building somewhere and the customers will come. And that's absolutely not true. This is a service business that happens to use construction equipment or other kind of rental equipment. And so we really need to figure out what is the business that we're in. Yes, it has construction equipment, but it's the services that we wrap around the products that make it go. All right. And then we need to figure out who are the people that will appreciate what we can offer, because the look competition's already keen. I mean, the bar is really high for some folks. And so, and then the next piece of this is, here's where it also breaks down for a lot of business owners, is they start a business and then they quit thinking like an investor. They start thinking like an employee. And so if they can get a paycheck regularly, they think they have, you know, but this is a business, okay? You're going to put in capital, you're going to take some financial risk, and you need to really think that through into the future, because what I'll tell you is the financial risk does not get less in
Mhm.
time, it gets more. So you have to really have a stomach for that, and you have to have a plan for, how am I going to grow the business? Okay. And so all of those things are elements leading up to the big takeaway for anybody attending this program, is to get a crystallized idea of what a business plan looks like for their business. Even if they had one 3 years ago, it may not be accurate anymore.
Mhm.
Okay. Or maybe it was missing some pieces.
Right.
So that is my goal, is to help people go out with a laser focused plan about how their business can now buy the right inventory, finance it correctly, make sure they're chasing the right markets, how they're spending a marketing dollar, all of those things. So that is the core foundation of the program.
And yeah, I think that you really hit on something that's very important, which is, this is an investment. It's not a glorified job, right? And so you got to think about it's like they're building an asset that's going to grow, and and that's a sort of like it's a mind shift. It's a subtle mind shift, but it's a definite mind shift that they have to make.
Well, what I'll tell you is that the competition thinks about it like an investment. My family sold a business that we had to an equity company, and I stayed on as part of the transition. And the day one, they gave me a new set of glasses and they said, look at the business the way that we see it now. And I was like, oh my gosh, because we didn't see it the same way, but they saw it as just like you would in a stock market. You work with a financial advisor and you tell them you want a 10% annual return, and that's the goal. And anything that doesn't achieve those results, then you get rid of it, or you make changes. And so a typical business owner doesn't think that way. They do not. And where it comes to bite them is later, when they would like to sell their business for optimum value, their business is not functioning at a high enough rate that it could pay it won't meet the financial requirements of the sophisticated buyer. It won't throw off enough money.
Right. Wow. Okay. That's great. And I think that, you know, them being able to hear this from you directly and to giving them the opportunity to ask you clarifying questions is going to be so valuable within this intimate setting. Larry, so I understand that there's the in-person class, which is going to be in Chattanooga again, April 24th to 25th. That's a Wednesday and a Thursday, and people will be arriving on the Tuesday, which is the 23rd, having dinner with you, and then the program is going to be the next a day and a half. But I understand there's a certain price, and then there's also a discount. So if you could kind of get into that, tell us about how people can register, what is the price, and there's a $150 discount. How long is that available for,
Yeah,
Larry?
that's great. I'm again trying to keep this to be an intimate event, so I don't want 30 people right now. If more than 20 people approach me, then maybe we'll have a second class. I just think that we need to work a small group. So I've negotiated pricing with the hotels and the restaurants and things like that. So it's an all inclusive price. So the price for this program is $795 for your 2 days. Okay. That's your 2 nights accommodation. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner each day, plus the training and your parking if you happen to drive a car. So when you really weed out kind of the hard costs, the training is nominal. Okay. Nominal. So what I would like to do though, to pass along an opportunity is kind of up until the 10th of this month. Okay. I'm offering a $150 discount for early registrants. And so basically your price at that point is $649. So I think it's a great opportunity and hopefully it's almost a no brainer for somebody.
And that, as of the time of recording of this video, that discount is gonna be is gonna it's 6 days away. So by the time somebody watches this, the discount is gonna be available for probably a little bit less time. And where they can register, you can go to academy.scriptintl.com. So again, https://academy.scriptintl.com. There's a register button there, and then you could pay online with, your major credit card.
Correct. Correct. And once somebody does that, they'll get a confirming email, and then within probably a day or two, they'll also get a confirming email from the hotel to make sure they understand, they're registered and all that kind of stuff. And but I'm really excited about this. Again, I had the good fortune of really working a couple times a year with a think tank, and these were people that were generally 10 or 12 years older than me. Their businesses were more mature than mine. And so they saw the universe very different than me, but I was in their basically wait, and so I could learn from them and apply to my business. And that's really my desire with this program, is to do the same thing. And so I look forward to seeing everyone come to Chattanooga. And hopefully this is something that we could do multiple classes.
Okay, great. And then let me ask you this. If somebody has any questions, if maybe they're sitting on the fence about registering and, they wanted to, clarify a few things with you, what's the best way to get in contact with you, Larry?
So two different ways. One of them, my direct phone is 904-838,
Okay.
or my email address is my initials, L Lawrence B K LBK at script SCRIPTINTL.com.
LBK at scriptintl.com. And what was that phone number again, Larry?
Nine
Eight
zero
nine.
four
Mhm.
838 3242.
All right, perfect. Any last words before we conclude this podcast episode?
So, one other thought that I have is some of the small businesses that are out there are trying to figure out who they're going to sell their business to. And the businesses may not have enough scale to be interesting to some of the people that do acquisitions. So they're trying to figure out, maybe, should I sell it to my son? Should I sell it to my son in law? Maybe my daughter? Maybe even this guy that's been my rental manager for 20 years. That could be a high risk idea, but one of the ways that we could more or less vet this person is have them come to this program. And I promise you, if they go through these 4 sessions, we're going to know whether they're the person to bet your business on, more or less. Or if somebody's considering opening a new branch and you need to put a branch manager in there that really understands the business like a business owner, that's what you would really like to have. So business owners, potentially next generation, or somebody that's going to be a branch manager. I think that's the 3 best profiles to possibly attend.
And I think that I wanted to emphasize that point about, trying to figure out who to sell the company to. And I think for younger generation people, millennials, Gen Z, I think that you should seriously consider, you know, if you're interested in having a business, buying a business instead of starting one from scratch and, buying a company like this, which is, I guess considered an industrial type of business, which is very different from what millennials and Gen Z think about. Everybody's thinking about, oh, I want to build a creator business or I want to have a YouTube channel or
Right.
whatever. I think that probably some of the most profitable businesses, Cody Sanchez, she's actually a thought leader in this space. She's an influencer. Cody Sanchez talks about buying businesses like this for the younger generations. She calls it boring businesses. I'm sorry to say that, Larry, but these boring businesses are the ones that are going to be the profit makers, and nobody else is thinking about this. So this is your opportunity. Come and attend this class, and you can learn about that, and you can learn all about how to lay that foundation for your highly successful equipment rental business. And again, it's going to be April 24th to 25th in beautiful downtown Chattanooga in the Spring Hill Suites. The price is $795, but up until April 2nd, you get a
April
hundred
10th.
April 10th, I'm sorry, you get a $150 discount, and that includes your hotel's room for 2 nights, right? And then all
Yes.
your meals and then networking and then knowledge from, Larry Kaye. You'll be sitting at the feet of the master during these 3 days. And so, thank you very much, Larry, for enlightening us on this fantastic program. And, I guess we look forward to seeing everybody there later this month.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Fernando.
Alrighty.